losing things.
Hopefully we won't leave lots of camera equipment here, but we want Peter, I'm very...
That's all right. I'll look forward to eBay.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's flashing, that one. It's not on. Do you know that?
Yeah, no, it is on. It's all right.
Ah, right. Okay.
It's go on, clap for each one then. Definite sync. Right, Peter, thank you very much. Finally we're here. What are we going to talk about? Past, present and future. That's what you just said, wasn't it?
Yeah, that is what I just said, yes.
No, right. Can I take it back to the beginning?
I didn't even know we'd begun, so I know we got past the beginning. So right. I'm delighted.
This is going to be great. I'm in a good mood. Right. What got you interested in making music?
Sex Pistols.
What about them?
I don't know really. When you think about it now, years later, it's hard to figure out because I wasn't musical. I'd never played an instrument, and I just went to see the Sex Pistols and decided to be a musician.
So was it Sid Vicious then?
No, it was pre-Sid Vicious. It was Matlock. So,
can you talk about the feelings that you had seeing the Pistols? Was it all the, tingliness?
You were there, were you? No, I mean, it was the attitude that appealed to me. It's like, it's one of those funny things about cocking a snoot at people and, being rebellious and anarchy. I like the idea of not being told what to do. I suppose as coming out as I was 21. And I suppose, your teenage years, you feel like that. You're sick of people telling you what to do. Sick of having to act in a certain way. And we looked at the Pistols and thought, oh my God, they're just doing what they want to do, how they want to do it, doing what they want, saying what they want. And you thought, I'd like to try that. So we became punks. And the musical thing came after, really, because we formed a group and then sat there one day and thought, oh, what do you do now? Oh yeah, write music. How do you do that then? And it was literally like that. And you had to learn on the hoof, quick.
So nobody taught you?
Nobody taught me, no.
And you just picked up a bass and...
Yeah.
Did you read any books?
I tried to read a book, but found that immensely boring. So it was what was it called? Book of Palmer. Book of Rock and Roll, Bass Guitar. I didn't like that. So. I mean, the funny thing is about when you start into something, it's not like taking piano lessons at school. You're really hungry for it, and we really went for it and started gigging. Within literally weeks of picking up an instrument, and we were atrocious. But I suppose it was one of the strangest things in the world is that now when you think about how much music you've created and how people say, how important you are, because it's only other people that say that, you never think that yourself. It seems ridiculous to think that you'd never even thought about the music when you began.
No, so it's always a here and now thing.
I don't understand that question.
There wasn't. Were you thinking, or it seems like you weren't. Were you thinking about the future? Can you think about the future of?
No,
you're, as in like
not at all.
I'm a driven person. I'm going to be a bass player in a very significant band. That's what my life's going to be. Kind of attitude.
No. I mean, literally, it was about. Oh, we've got a gig at the Squat next week. So let's do that. You literally went from that to that, and you writing the songs became a necessity for you to be able to play. And when you started playing, because you sort of fed off the atmosphere and the buzz of it all, then it was like that. All right, now we'll write more songs so we can play more.
And so, but what felt like a nice moment for Joy Division? The first like. Well, maybe we're getting somewhere because it can easily go.
No, I mean it was always a struggle for Joy Division, which was one of the quite interesting things about it. Was that from when we began Joy Division to when we finished Joy Division, we literally hadn't changed much. We didn't have any money, so our circumstances hadn't changed, and your lifestyle hadn't changed. So it was quite a weird thing to think that when we began Joy Division to when Ian died, we really had no more money than when we started. We didn't feel like it had actually had much impact on us. And we locked ourselves away as New Order. And it didn't feel, you know, it was just like you tried to forget it, I suppose, tried to blot it out of your mind. Just got on with New Order.
Right. So, because it seems like, I mean, Bernard has said that you didn't notice his lyrics, his darkness too much.
No, we didn't, because I think the thing is that Ian was very good at hiding everything. He played down his illness, played down his lyrics. He played everything down.
Yeah.
So he led us to believe that probably he was, you know, better, fitter, brighter than he was.
And so it came as a big surprise, did it really?
Yeah, I think you could safely say. Well, I mean, looking back on it now, with the benefit of hindsight and history, you can see, oh shit, you know, why did we miss that, or why did that happen when that had happened? But I think the main thing of it was that you were so young and so inexperienced, you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah.
So you just, you know, when you're young, you do tend to stumble through life, and that's basically what we were doing.
So you're not doing that now?
No, I still stumble through life. I've just got a bit more experience. Bumble through life now as opposed to stumble.
John, can you describe some of your best moments with New Order and Joy Division?
By God, that'd take you forever, really. I mean, I don't know. It's been quite an odd... For us, it was very different because we were independent and on a minor record label. You grew much slower. You know, like people these days, they go on X Factor, next minute they're buying their mum's houses and stuff like that, you know. I mean, ours was so gradual, a gradual climb, that it's quite difficult now because nothing changed overnight. You know, even after Blue Monday or whatever, you had the biggest selling 12-inch of all time. But you didn't actually change you any, you know, it didn't change you much. No. Really, it was too slow, and we had the Hacienda that was basically taking all our money. So we were pretty much the same, right from when we began as Joy Division, literally right up to when Factory went bankrupt. You know, our personal circumstances hadn't improved that much, and everything seemed to be just flying past you, really. You were just getting on with it.
And does that bother you particularly now?
Sometimes it bothers me when I'm skint. It bothers me. You know, and if something starts to go wrong, or you know, I want a new car, it can bother me. But as my accountant did say, he said it won't really bother you until you don't earn any money. When you stop earning money, that's when it'll bother you. So I'm sort of quite happy working myself to an early grave to sort of stave that off, you see.
Hopefully not too early at a grave. Well, so there aren't any. Well, did you?
No, I mean, there's been huge moments. Hundreds and hundreds of fantastic moments, ranging from, you know, the very depraved to the headlining Glastonbury. You know, there's millions and millions of moments. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Can you give me 2 or 3?
Well, I mean, it's a funny thing, really, because, you know, I don't know. Off the top of my head now, I couldn't, apart from something as obvious as headlining Glastonbury. But I mean, you know, that's defying the thing that I went through 5 years of madness in the Hacienda from 1988 to 1993, when the world was completely turned on its head, and you know, every night was amazing. You know, watching the sunrise at Ibiza when you had your first tea and stuff like that. You know, it's like really weird moments. My life has been very surreal, and I've had some really real surreal moments, and I still get them now, which is what amazes me. Even after 30 years in this business, I still get, like, going through the breakup of New Order last year was quite surreal. After living with it for, you know, as long as we did, something you never thought you'd see. or pain that you never thought you'd go through. So there's loads of things. I'm very, very lucky in that while my job is very, very stressful, it's very, very interesting, very, very edgy still, and quite surreal.
And surreal and high risk, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the high risk generally is mainly to your ego, to be honest, because the thing is that this is one of those businesses where if people don't seem to like you, you start thinking, oh shit, it's all gone wrong, or it's all gone, oh God, nobody likes me, I can't get a job now, I'm not in band, or It's one of the businesses that can attack you very quickly.
Why do you think that is?
Because it's built on success, isn't it? Yeah. It's built on fawning and people recognising you and giving you. It's a really odd thing.
Do you think it's very unquantifiable then?
No, I think that it's all about having your ego stroked as a musician, basically, or as a celebrity. And I think that I'll sit there and think, oh shit, it's all gone wrong. Fuck, it's all over. My wife will go, what are you talking about? Just because it's people that generally bring you back. Thank God. I don't think I'm a very good judge of anything, to be honest.
No. Well, the thing is, because you can look back, can't you, and go, well, this was done and this was done. So
yeah, but it doesn't help you. All that crap.
Doesn't it?
It doesn't particularly help you. You got Ivor Novello awards or this award and that award and all that. But when you sat there trying to write a song or trying to get a gig or playing to a hostile crowd of disco mad Italians, none of that helps, does it? Really, you're on your own basically. It's still you, with your willpower and your mettle, trying to get through. So I'd have to say none of it matters a flying fuck, really. You just got to get on with it, and shut up moaning and get on with it.
So where does it come from for you then?
What?
The drive, the inspiration. What you said to me today, you're writing songs. So talk me through your creative process, if that's okay.
My creative processes, that's an interesting one. Well, we normally put our instruments on and then jam about for about an hour until we get bored, and then we listen back to it and see if there's anything in there that you can develop into something else. And literally, it could be the smallest, tiniest one bar or one off chord that can give you a song. And you then spend weeks and months refining it, which we use the term loosely, depending on who's with you. This becomes refining or polishing a turd or polishing a diamond, It's like that thing. It's a very difficult thing to tell, and when you work with other people, the compromise is difficult. So you have to sort of, I don't know, I mean, it's the only thing, well, I shouldn't say it's the only thing, it's the only thing I feel that I'm good at.
So there's, I've got a question that was going to come later on, but maybe we're already there now. What else would you have done with your life?
I wanted to work in a scrapyard, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Because?
I just like fucking around with cars. That was it. That's the only thing that appealed to me.
But the Pistols changed that.
Yeah. And I don't know. Well, like I say, it wasn't really musical because I'd never been interested in music as such. At 21, which I believe is very old for a musician to start. Johnny Marr was saying he started at 5, and this business is so all-consuming. I'm bloody glad I didn't get it till I was 21. You don't get weekends off when you're self-employed, do you? You don't get to go home at 6 when you're self-employed. But I mean, it has been, and I shouldn't play it down because it has been fantastic.
Yeah, no. But I mean, Peter, I'm over here approaching us the similar. I'm in the business, broadly speaking, and so it's interesting hearing you, an older, wiser person. And,
we'll see.
Well, and just the kind of our dialogue with we've done this during the week and stuff. Oh, I've got. Shall I show you the charity donation thing that you mentioned?
No, what did I mention?
You
I can't
said
remember.
50 quid to charity. Do you not remember saying that?
For you? For the interview?
Yeah.
No, well, no, I don't, but I say it to everybody, so not to worry.
I brought the receipt if you
Thank
need to
you.
see that.
That's fine.
That's what you said.
I think it's one of the, well, I suppose the little bonuses you can do. It doesn't make much difference, but I think it's quite nice.
No, Peter, on being, sincere and stuff, I thought it was a very nice gesture, and not wanting to be too selfish. It was nice to go and take the cash,
Good.
And feel like, because I'm indulging here, aren't I?
Oh yes.
And you know that. So. Do you want to talk? Can you talk about what you like about dance music?
What I like about dance music, my God, I mean, it's funny when you phoned me up yesterday to tell me you were coming. I was thinking about it, and it was quite strange because I DJ now, which means that I'm actually more involved in dance music than when I just used to make it. Now, not only do I make it, but I have to go and watch people dance to it and get them, if you like, to dance to it. And I suppose if I was going to sum it up, I always remember the excitement that you used to feel when you used to walk up to the hacienda, and the bass drum would be rattling the windows, and and all the windows was rattling, and it was that excitement. And no matter how tired you were or how off it you were or whatever, that really, really got you going. And when you went in, the atmosphere was just like, wow, this is fantastic. It was like worshipping in the right church, if you like. It was just amazing to be swept up in it. I mean, I like dance music because it's mindless. It's all about enjoying yourself. It doesn't take itself too seriously. A lot of people can make it. It's very free. People just judge it simply if they can dance to it. They're not looking for a hidden message or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, I like it a lot.
It's unquantifiable a bit. It's primal. Because you don't know how it takes you, do you?
Well, I mean, it's a funny thing because I always view groups as rock and roll groups. I don't understand dance bands because to me, you don't go and watch a group. I associate dance music with clubs, not like go out and see the Chemical Brothers or something like that. I think that should be separate somehow. I don't know why. I just always associate dance music with clubs.
But yeah, well, that's because that's an outlet for it, isn't it? And I was kind of, after watching the Factory doco and the whole Hacienda thing, which you might say Factory were like, because in that documentary it was like, why didn't they have a recording studio? They had one end of the business. They had the delivery end, and there's like, what about the manufacturing end, which is the TV, which is the studio, isn't it? So
well, I mean,
was that an imbalance? I mean, that's just a little bit.
The argument about the studio with Factory was the first time that I saw that Paradise wasn't perfect, to be honest, because we were all on the way up with Martin Hannett, Tony, Rob, and we had the Hacienda and everything. It was like, wow, this is great. It's like everyone was going in the same direction. And all of a sudden Martin Hannett decided that we were wasting money and we should have a recording studio. And that was when the first split happened, because Tony and Rob felt that we didn't need a recording studio, we could use other people's. I think that partly the reason for that is that record companies use their own recording studios to get back their own money from artists. It's quite known that if you signed to CBS, you'd go and record in CBS's studio, or if you went to RAC, you'd go and record at RAC's studio. That was like, musicians looked on it as like a perk, but in effect they were getting the money back. And what Martin Hannett said was that if you build a studio, you'll pay for it in one LP, which we would have done, but we like doing things the hard way. So we didn't. We just built somewhere where we could lose all the money. Yeah, it was an interesting thing, but I was quite, when they fell out over that, it was quite shocking, because everybody thought, after Ian, we were all back to go in the right direction.
Yeah, what you're saying there is interesting. It's how, you know, we're not wanting to sound too cynical about manipulation of people a bit, isn't it? Kind of
Well,
like
it's classed as the normal thing to do.
Yeah.
And the thing is that factory and ourselves, as we got sort of lulled into that, we didn't like doing things normally. So Tony felt that it was boring. Having your own studio, how boring is that? We can go and use other people's, we can go to Mustique, or we can go to Ibiza, we can go and record anywhere. Why would we want to build our own studio? So you can see his point, because he wasn't, as he said, Tony said he wasn't interested in money, you know.
Yeah. Well, at times, Peter, aren't a lot of people who are pursuing this business, their main drive might not be money, their main drive might be making the thing that they want to make.
Well, yeah, but I think I could safely say that if Tony Wilson had probably turned around to us in 1981 when we were going to sign to him and said he's not interested in making money, he only wants to make art, I think the rest of us might have gone, maybe it might be an idea to find somebody who's a little bit more grounded, you know. Yeah. But I mean, Tony was very lucky, you know. He made art and changed the world and changed the way that people think about music, the way that people think about the music business within the city and factory. You know, he made people go, oh God, you don't have to do it normally, which is exactly what we did when we began making music. You know, you don't have to be normal musicians like Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple. You can be like the Sex Pistols. You know, and that was just a way of looking at it that you carried on. Really, he looked at this business in a different way, and I think that people relish that even now, you know, and admire the stance that Tony Wilson and Rob Gretton took.
No, it's because as we were saying in the car on the way up, it's everyone places a lot of value or interest. These creative pursuits bring a lot of comfort, or whatever words you want to describe, to people, don't they? It's cathartic to make them sometimes, and then that whole, I don't know, Peter, how you find it, but you know, going and DJing for people and watching them go crazy and smile and come up to you and say, "I'll put Blue Monday on."
Yeah, again, put Blue Monday on again. Oh my God. It does make me laugh, that though. That is one of the things that does make me laugh. It's that, like, you'll literally travel 5,000 miles to Singapore or somewhere, and you'll start DJing, and some kid will go up and go, play Blue Monday, play Blue Monday, and you're like, oh man. I mean, I went through a phase of when I started of not playing New Order, because it seemed like the most obvious thing in the world to me that I was in New Order. Why would I play it? That doesn't make sense, you know. And then you have to realise that people come and see you because of your past, as we were talking about before, and you know, you can't just dismiss it. You have to acknowledge that people come to you for a reason of what they've heard, and I suppose the secret is playing them something they've not heard that you like, to make it interesting for you. So, you know, but it does. I wish I had £1 for every time someone asked me to play Blue Monday, and sometimes I'll have just played Blue Monday and they'll ask me to play it. It's amazing.
Because maybe if you were given £1 for every time somebody asked you to play it, then would it be a record that made some money? Because what's the whole story if it made no money?
The reason it didn't make any money was because the sleeve cost more than the profit on the record.
Is that a nice piece of English irony?
Well, it was irony, considering it was the biggest selling 12-inch of all time. I don't suppose it could be more ironic, you know. I mean, if you did, how many records had an expensive sleeve that didn't sell any? And ours, as luck would have it, would be the most expensive sleeve, and it sold millions, which was the irony, I suppose. I mean, it's quite interesting because Steve Morris always says that the great thing about Blue Monday, the sleeve, was that it was the bits you didn't get that cost the money. The holes, the bits they took out of the sleeve, because it had to be stamped 3 times to cut 3 different holes in it. That was why it cost so much money. But I mean, you see, Factory had that attitude, that punk attitude to music and to life, extended to accounts. So they were, you know, they kept it right the way through. They were very strict in their guidelines of punk and chaos and anarchy, went to everything. You know, so nobody spotted that it was losing money. They didn't, you know, it's like, but we were all still here, as my accountant says.
Well, exactly, and it's kind of at times, even though I know it's a well-trodden board, you might say, talking about it, it's fun, isn't it? To kind of...
Well, I mean, I suppose if you were Tears for Fears, you don't really have much to talk about, do you?
I don't know.
Do you know, I mean, I suppose in a way, you know, Thompson twins can't really talk about much of what happened to them. Whereas New Order and Joy Division, you know, you do tend to have I don't know, maybe you've had a bit more interest in... more interest in life. It's quite odd, really.
Well, it is, because it's like how... We could have a little chat now about how you rank people, isn't it? The whole... best artists and stuff, and there's if you talk
I mean, music, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? You know, and what I think is crap, somebody might think is fantastic. That's obvious. I mean, that's what makes life interesting, is that people don't agree with you, musically or otherwise. The thing that I like about being allied to Factory and the Hacienda is that it was so off the wall. It was so interesting. People were amazed at how stupid we were, and it just enabled you to act like a child right the way through, you know. I mean, I used to love, and I still love, being a musician, because as a musician, nobody can tell you what to do. It's fantastic. You can go and act like a complete arsehole and get away with it, like Pete Doherty, Amy Winehouse. You know, if normal people acted like that, the guy in the paper shop, he'd be out of a job, wouldn't he? But in our business, it's, you know, it's fantastic.
And it's kind of tolerated, isn't it? Because...
But no, it's actually sought after. People, you play up to what people expect you to be like, your behaviour. You know, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic job. I recommend it.
We'll leave here and we'll become big stars. The thing is, only a select few are given that opportunity, aren't they?
Well, it's not an opportunity. I mean, you'd have to look on the way that you have to earn it, don't you?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you have to you have to write music.
And you take choices, like you've already said, you took choices to be here, didn't you, today?
Yeah, definitely.
Everything that's the risks along the way.
I did the risks with what we did were unbelievably high, and we were very, very lucky, really, when the shit hit the fan, to salvage anything, really. You know, it was a very, very high rolling game.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Should we talk? Do you want to talk about your influences?
My influences, my God. Influences. My only influences were punk and Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, Velvet Underground, things like that.
Not other dance acts.
No, I must admit that the only other dance act that I hold in high regard or high esteem are Kraftwerk.
Yeah.
And I had a definite interest through Steve Morris into krautrock, Can, Faust, people like that. I must admit, you know, I suppose I'm being a bit facetious there because people I do admire musically. Chemical Brothers, even Fatboy Slim. He's very, very good at what he does. And also The Prodigy, one of those bands that, you know, I don't think anything of, and yet when I hear their tunes, I think, is that Prodigy? Oh my God, you know, I get surprised. So I do have a lot of contemporaries that I'm very, very impressed by.
So you'll kind of listen to their stuff?
I listen to loads and loads of stuff. One of the great things about DJing, and I must admit I was going through a period where I was very jaded as a musician. When I started DJing, I started listening to music for a different reason. Oh God, this is going to go down great in a banging club. You know, you weren't just listening to it for your enjoyment. I was actually listening to it with the aim of doing something with it, and it did give me. It gives me a complete new lease of life, to be honest. Because now I actually devour music and pick it out and, you know, do things with it. And I'll take other people's music, which I never used to do before, and we'll edit it and overdub on it for use in, you know, in a club. Which, and when I do compilation CDs, you know, it's quite nice that it's not your material. It's it's like kind of a liberating thing in a way. Playing with other people's music is great.
So it's not. Do you? I don't know. Tell me how you find it. Do you, with your own stuff, you can feel too close to it and stuff?
Oh God, I mean, it's ridiculous how you obsess with it, and the trouble is with this world, with computers and everything, you literally trying to say stop is the most difficult thing in the world, because I mean, one of the reasons that you get so bored with it is that you can do so much. And you know, a lot of the time you used to find in New Order that you'd start with something that sounded really great, you'd experiment with it via how many people or how many hours or how many weeks, and then come back to what you started with. It's quite a weird, circuitous route, a real wasting time. And in the old days, you couldn't do any of that. You know, you didn't have the freedom. You pressed record on a tape recorder and you had to play it, and then you played it back, and that was about as far as it went. You know, now the amount of time you can waste. I mean, they always said that computers were invented by studio owners so they could make loads of money, but I suppose it's changed a little these days. But
well, it's, you kind of at times, you know.
It's the same in your game, I would imagine. You can edit and do this and effect and blah 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 blah.
And like, why am I here today? You know, because
bores the arse off you, and you lose what you were doing in the first place. Yeah.
So you come up and talk to somebody that you might not have thought would have said yes to you, and that
yeah, it only cost you 50 quid. Yeah. I should have asked for more.
Cost a little bit more than that.
Oh right, go on then.
But no, you know what I mean. Injecting freshness into your life. You know, coming to get somebody else's perspective on.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's always nice to hear what people, you know, who make the music you admire. I mean, I was quite shocked though, because when New Order started bickering last March, and the bickering got quite intense, it was amazing how much we upset our fans. Because I think that people who listen to music like to think that it comes from the gods and it's poured down to them, you know, and you don't shit or piss or anything like that and have to put the dog out and all that crap. And when they find out that you're just normal people, I think they actually didn't like it. Oh God, they're just like us, they bicker and call each other, and then, you know, it was a funny thing really. It was quite sad. And I suppose I'm just the same, because, you know, when I listen to music that I love, and then you see someone talk about it in a very disparaging manner, or, you know, I get quite upset. So because we're all human, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. There's not, you know, there's not. In some ways, there's differences between you and I, but there's lots of similarities, and Katrine as well. We're all kind of, you know, just.
You turn the camera around on you now.
Yeah.
Katrina.
Peter, start interviewing me. No. But yeah, no, it's it is like, I mean, we've thrashed all this "where does it come from" thing out a lot, and I've done this in other interviews as well. And basically, there is no definite answer or anything, is there? So.
Well, I mean, people, you tend to find something that you like, which is how we used to write, and we'll take a track that we like. Bernard in particular had one track that he always used to try and rip off, which was an Italian house record. And no matter how hard we tried to rip it off, it always led somewhere else. And I suppose that's the beauty of it, is that when you use something, you add it to your arsenal, and then you create something different from it. And that's, to me, is what it's all about. When people take from you something and then just produce the same thing, like The Cure did with New Order, that doesn't...
Yeah, well, it's kind of,
It's weird. I mean, people always say, well, you should sue him, you know. You should sue him. And I mean, we got sued a few times by very unlikely people. And it's a really negative thing to do, you know.
Well, because what we're starting to talk about here is sampling, isn't it?
Well, sampling, yeah. I mean, but it was funny because everybody has a different attitude to sampling. At Warner Brothers, they used to listen to your record, and this guy, like the sample police, would decide which bit came from where, even if it hadn't of. He'd say, "Oh, that sounds like the Police," so he'd get a clearance from the Police for that track, or whatever, and it wouldn't be. You know, it just sounded like them, but that's the way Warner's did it. And then at Polydor, they said, fuck them. If they catch us, we'll sort it out later. So the record companies each have a different way of looking and dealing with things like sampling. But I mean, you know, there are times that I hear things that, you know, annoy me. So I don't know. It's a difficult thing. I mean, we got sued by John Denver, and he won. Which I thought was ridiculous, very unfair, as if John Denver needs it anyway because he was a multi-millionaire, you know, but I suppose that's some guy in an office who does that for him. Yeah. So I mean, it does surprise me that people like the Rolling Stones with the Verve or whatever, you know, I mean, do you really need the money?
I know.
Or are you making a point, or, you know?
Yeah, because if you're making a point, then you would just say, well, just write me a letter or say sorry or something.
Or give it to charity or whatever. Yeah. See, it puzzles me. I'm not really into it, to be honest. We never have been. Luckily for you two.
Yeah.
All right, Bongo.
So where should we go next? Let's have a look. Can you describe New Order's look?
Look, or look. Look. New Order's look. The style. You mean in a fashion sense?
Yeah, or just what they're feeling. You know, how would you to somebody who's come down from Planet Zog, and it's like, inform me about New Order.
Well, we'd probably come with them.
You go off to Planet Zog.
No, we'd have come with them from Planet Zog. Right. I would have thought.
So,
no, we never really had it. I don't think we were very stylish as a group, personally, because it was one of the things that you inherited from punk, was that you weren't really interested in that. I always used to watch bands getting dressed before they go on stage and think, what a bunch of swats. Getting changed to go on stage, how fucking ridiculous is that? Well, that's just like a punk thing, you know. I mean, I do it now, and it actually feels quite nice to get ready, put your armour on, and go out and do it. But when you have a different opinion when you're young. So no, I think New Order were very unstylish, which I thought was quite interesting.
Or were you at times reflecting what was going on at the time?
What, in your head? Messy.
Well, no, but like.
Well, I mean, we always at odds, because everyone always used to say I look like I should be in a heavy metal band. Right. You know, so it was. I suppose it was the chemistry. It is the chemistry that makes you as a group, and I think the chemistry again was reflected in our individual looks. So I'd say we had no style at all.
But you were well balanced.
No, we were completely unhinged.
Really?
It's like a seesaw, I suppose. Being in a group's like a seesaw. It goes like, oh shit, wow, yeah.
Who's got the biggest, or who had the biggest ego in New Order then?
Well, if you talk to Bernard, it was me.
Right.
If you talk to me, it was him. Steve and Gillian seemed to get away with it somehow. Quite cleverly ducked it.
Okay. Right. I don't know. Should we go off? Have you seen the Hacienda Adidas shoes?
Yeah, I helped design them. Yeah.
What do you like them?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, they're not great to. It's funny because people won't wear them.
Well,
because there's such a collector's item, and the box is so wonderful and everything that comes with it, that people won't wear them. So I saw Ben Kelly wearing his, and he was going, "Well, fuck it, you know, I fucking designed them. I'm going to wear them." And I thought, "Oh right, shit." So I started wearing mine, and they're surprisingly comfortable.
And they're a bargain at
£350.
And if
It was an interesting thing, though. I mean, the concept for the trainer came about when a friend of mine who works at Adidas, he's a club nut.
Yeah.
He went to Hacienda. His formative years were wasted in the Hacienda.
Yeah.
And he works at Adidas now, and he wanted to do a series of sneakers because they'd had them celebrating Mickey Mouse and da-di-da and all this lot, and he felt that they were such part of club fashion, clubbing, that he wanted to celebrate the 6 greatest super clubs in the world. He couldn't get permission from the other 5. So I talked him into going ahead with the Hacienda one. And then, because it was so off the wall, Ben Kelly and Peter Saville were very happy to get involved in doing the shoe. And I think because it was limited edition, it appealed to them. If you'd have said this is going to be a £5 each in Tesco, do you want a design? They would have gone no. But because it was limited edition, 350 quid, they were up for it. It was a funny, I suppose it's that art and commerce that makes things interesting, I suppose.
You're at the high end of the market, aren't you?
Well, that's what interests people like that. I didn't have the fusion between Adidas and Yohji Yamamoto and Peter Saville sort of happened. It was my idea, but then it got sidelined, if you like, a little. But I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, the interest that it created 10 years after the club shut was unbelievable, and was fantastic. It's definitely something that you can do again. And I mean, and Peter Saville spends all his life telling us how important a brand is. And when you look at someone like the Ministry of Sound, who have achieved as a brand something that they didn't really deserve because they ripped off, Hacienda, the whole ethos of a lot of other people, but they've refined it to a fantastic brand. And now Ministry of Sound runs Head Candy, Cream. They're they buy them all up. It's quite an odd thing, really. So I mean, it's an interesting thing, and I think that people it's like a T-shirt of your favourite group. It's a T-shirt of your favourite club. I love the ethos and the attitude of the Hacienda and the people that ran the Hacienda and the people that went to the Hacienda, as in the whole of Manchester. So that's why people buy into it. And personally, I'm delighted. I'm delighted to be sort of sitting here in 2008, watching the Hacienda again be successful, which is wild. Let's just hope we don't make a balls of it this time.
Well, because are you looking forward to this summer? Because it's a 20-year anniversary, isn't it?
Yeah, 20 years of Acid House. Yeah, we're doing a CD, and we're also doing another shoe. We're doing a Kickers shoe, Hacienda Kickers, day and night it's called. So you can wear one during the day to work, and you can have one at night for going out in. And these are cheap, which I'm delighted about, so that everyone will stop moaning about me about not being able to afford them. They're just a normal, Pete Saville's designing it again, and it's going to be, for everyone, which has made me very happy.
Can you describe that Kicker shoe, please?
Well, we're still planning it, but it's got a strobe light in it. I was delighted. It's got a smiley face on it. It's great. It's really been fun to do it. It's part of a series of groups and music that changed the world. So it's all in a group together, with a lot of other bands and things like that. So it's great. No, it's just a fun thing to do, and a surreal a surreal moment that I never would have expected in a million bloody years. No. So it's nice, and I like the excitement, and that I can go around the world and do Hacienda nights, playing the music that I love, basically. Dance music that I love, Acid House. I love Acid House music. I think it's fantastic. There's something about it that really gets you. And I'm delighted to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, it's I'm totally with you on that one. Let me try and continue. Yeah, that's it. Because this interview started because of that CD, the Hacienda Classics.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I looked on the website, and Because you're going to do a DVD, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, the Hacienda Classics came about because my friend who works at Warner Brothers kept giving me Ministry of Sound CDs and Cream CDs, and I was listening to them going, these are fucking shit. Who does these? It's like, it's crap. It's just fucking rubbish, you know what I mean? I mean, some of them were all right, but most of them were just crap. And he said to me, well, if you're such a fucking smart ass, why don't you do one? And I went, what do you mean do one? He said, well, you had the Hacienda, didn't you? You do one. And I thought, oh, that's not a bad idea. So 10 years after the Hacienda closed, I did the Hacienda Classics, and I must admit that listening to 500 acid house dance records sober was quite an experience. Maybe not sober, but not as twatted as we were in 1987, 88. And I just, it was funny because I didn't recognise a lot of the music. Yeah, I was there every night. And it became a bit of a revelation for me, and I did the CD, the CDs, the triple CD, and it sold, it's now up to something like 130,000 of a triple, and that is amazing. And I was really happy with it. I listened to it, and I thought, that's really good. I was very happy. It made me very happy to do it. And then I could sit there, and it won a couple of awards for Best Compilation, etc. and things like that. And I was glad I showed them Cockney bastards and them Scouse bastards how to do it, Yeah. And everything sort of with the Hacienda has sort of grown on from there.
It's not dead, is it?
No, it's far from dead. I mean, we did a Hacienda night on December the 29th in Manchester with David Morales, Graham Park, Dave Haslam, myself. I get to DJ on my own nights, it's top. And it was mega great. People rocking, dead young, dead old, everything. And it was just like a proper great celebration, And now we're getting offers, some bizarre offers I got offered to support the enemy, with a Hacienda sound system, like Andrew Weatherall used to do in the past and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, that's mega that, So I suppose like on an achievement thing, it's funny how you can achieve all we did as New Order, and then lo and behold, I get offered a support gig in Birmingham with the enemy, and I'm over the moon. How bizarre is that?
Yeah, well, it's the kind of reversal, isn't it? Because it's like, there could be the thing where you start off with your musical career. The thing is, if you're younger than you, Peter, I'm not saying you're old, but it's the whole thing of like, you can start to DJ, can't you? And then you make music.
Yeah, I did it the other way around. Yeah, it was funny.
That's a time thing, isn't it? Because
no, it's not really. Because the reason DJs make their own music is it's the only way they earn any money. Because playing other people's music, they don't get any money for it, do they? Playing their own music, they actually earn money.
But at times, I mean, yeah, because that contrasts what I said to Katrine in the car on the way up. Is that, would you say though that DJing could be steadier money than making music, or is possibly feels easier for some people?
Ooh, I mean, the thing that shocks me in 2008 is that if you look over the DJ lists, it's the same DJs that have been playing for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. And there aren't many new DJs that are big. Eddie Halliwell, it springs to mind, and maybe there's a few more these days with Axwell and too many DJs and stuff like that starting to come through, but it's still very much controlled by the Carl Coxes and Sasha and Paul Oakenfold that have been around for donkeys. And if they were musicians, it makes you think, you don't get musicians lasting like that. Because Paul Oakenfold has been slagged off, as far as I can remember, for about the past 15 years for being crap. And yet he still is one of the biggest DJs in the world. And if that was a group, they wouldn't have lasted, So I suppose there is a difference.
Yeah, because I can sit here and I'm doing this in a hypothetical way. DJs don't do anything. All they do is
play other people's records, and
seamlessly join it together.
Well, yeah, and I thought they were the biggest bunch of pretentious, stuck-up twats I'd ever met in my life, right? And when I became one, a DJ, I fitted in perfectly.
Peter, this is very good.
Right, 100 quid then. So I mean, you know, it's yeah, but people, I was the worst in the hacienda. I used to go around going, "That Sasha's getting what? Tell him to piss off, throw him out, and all that lot," you know. And we were single-handedly, more or less, responsible for superstar DJs. We were the first guy. We paid Sasha 2,000 quid when he sold out the hacienda, and it was the most the DJ had ever been paid. You know, and so we were responsible for it, you know, in a way, you know. Then it snowballed to like Carl Cox getting $1 million for one night and then flying across the world and getting another $1 million, you know. It was unbelievable. And the thing is that as a DJ, I'd have to say that there is a bloody art to it, because sometimes you can pull it off and sometimes you can't. And I must admit that the interesting thing about being in a group is that when you're in a group, nobody can get near you. And then all of a sudden you're DJing and any bloody Tom, Dick and Harry can come and grab you. So it's quite frightening sometimes. And I've had some really, really hairy moments DJing, much hairier than I have playing in a group. Because you're on your own in a little box and everyone can get you. You know, if you make a mistake or you're doing something that people don't like or someone takes exception to, they can come and grab you. You know, it's quite exciting. To be honest, it's a struggle, and some nights are a real struggle. And I come out and I think, oh my God, you know, I've lost my mojo. That's it. It's all over. I'm never going to DJ again. And I'll have 3 or 4 on the trot that are crap, and I'll just be like, oh shit. And I'll be saying to the missus, I'm not going out again. It's so embarrassing. Everybody hates me. You know, I'm shit and all that. And you go and do some dive in Wigan, pull it off. Everyone goes fucking ape shit. And you're like, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I'm back. You know, it's like that. It's like swings and roundabouts. Whereas with a group, it tends to be much more level because people come to see you because they know all your material, and they never complain. You know, and yeah, as a DJ, you're constantly being harassed. It's great.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's interesting. Right, let's have a look. What about? I don't know. Well, what you've kind of touched on it a bit, but can you sum up? How do you find your life then as a musician stroke DJ?
How do I find my life as a musician stroke DJ? Luckily, I'm very comfortable because of I presume I did something right. So no, I'm very happy. It's very difficult to define that because I DJ a hell of a lot, and since New Order split up, I've not played in a group. And to be honest with you, I've not missed. I missed the camaraderie. You know, I mean, I remember I did Pasha in Brazil and packed it out, rocked it. It was fantastic, great, wonderful, you know. And then I finished and I went home and I was sat in the room like, oh, fucking hell. It's a bit weird, isn't it, you know? And yet with a group, there's much more the camaraderie of people going round, you know. It feels much more gangy and much more sort of safe in a way. You know, your mates are always there. There's always loads of people around you. And as a DJ, it can be quite intoxicating one minute and then very, very odd the next, you know. So that's a strange thing. But as a DJ, there's no one to nose you up. You know, you don't get pissed off with the drummer, or you don't get pissed off with the singer. It's just you. I suppose it's like that thing about swings and roundabouts. And I do like it. I mean, I like when Arthur Baker, God bless him, who I think is vastly underrated in music and DJing. He always, whenever I go with him, he always seeks out the other DJs and we all sit there together like a band of brothers, you know, which is something I don't do. I'm a bit more reserved and a bit quieter than that. I don't do that, and it's really nice when I go with him because he's like, he knows everybody and you do get a feeling of fellowship. But the interesting thing about it is that even though you are just playing other people's records, you're doing it alone, you know. I know why people do it together, because it's quite lonely. It's a bit weird, you know. Sometimes I sit there and I'll say to my mate, come and talk to me for God's sake, because I'm stood there for 2 hours playing tunes, and even if you're quite busy, you know, no one comes and talks to you. It'd be great if someone, all right, mate, how you doing? You can get your drink or something. You know, you're just like, come and talk to me. I'm just on my own. It's a really weird thing to do, you know.
Yeah, crowd interaction. I mean, I went to see Fred Deakin play, and we had a good night with him, and he ended up wearing my Miami Vice cap.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was because also like any of these situations, you don't know who these people are. So you, like you were saying earlier, you don't know what they're going to do to you. So if somebody turns up with a cap, you might find them a bit freakish or like, why is this guy asking? Well, but it can be just that party spirit thing.
I find that most people, the majority of people, are fantastic.
Yeah.
And I've been everywhere DJing, and I've had a fantastic time. And I can count the nutters literally on one hand. And if I do get a bad nutter, there's usually somebody there, some fan who'll look after me, or the promoter. They've all been. It's good. I mean, it's very hard work DJing because the travelling kills you, and you're bearing your soul, and it's very easy to feel very, very vulnerable with it that I never had in a group. So it's a nice contrast, I suppose, to... I get much more excited about DJing in a nervous way than I do about playing in the band, because you're preaching to the converted most of the time. Because they know you so well, you know. But they still all ask for Blue Monday whether you're in the band or DJing.
So, do you play off vinyl or CD? Or
I only play off CD because I can't carry vinyl. I can't do that. I mean, I don't beat match either. It's quite funny because I thought everybody beat matched, and it's just really boring to me. So I don't like that. So I don't do it.
Fade in and out nicely.
No, start on the beat stuff, but they're all different tempos. I hate nights that are all one tempo. Everything sounds the same to me. I don't get it. I mean, yeah, it's, you know, my DJing style has been described as very idiosyncratic and shit.
That's not constructive criticism.
No, of course it's not. But I did like. I always used to love what Bernard used to say to me about it, which you just fucking mime, and it's just a PA, innit? That's all it is. Well, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion, aren't they? You know, it does make me. It's quite interesting though, DJing, because it's like I love the way it's taken out of context with YouTube. It's an interesting thing that, like, you'll be having a banging night in Hong Kong, you know, a few drinks, whatever, everyone going ape shit, and you do, you know, act like a bit like you would at a party, and then there you are, someone sat at home watching it on YouTube, going, look at that dickhead. YouTube is a great way of taking something out of the moment and analysing it in the cold light of day. And it was funny. You know, you should never watch him, should you? It's terrible when you start watching yourself. Oh my God.
Yeah, we don't. None of us want heads up the rear end, do we?
No. But I mean, no, it's the second best job in the world.
What's the first best?
Playing in a group.
Very nice. Where else are we going to go? The thing is, I'm in the mood of, like, the tape's at 58 minutes. It's going to.
Oh, that's not that went actually quite quickly. That.
Oh, maybe we've had a good time. Painless. So I don't know. We'll keep it rolling for another 4 or 5 minutes until the tape runs out, and then.
There you go. That's probably a good place, wouldn't it?
And, yeah, because otherwise we will. We'll continue retreading the same material, because I think you said some great stuff, Peter. It's kind of you've bared your soul. Or is there anything you really want to?
I mean, it's quite an interesting thing, because what I like about it is when you're DJing again, because people can get to you, they will actually give you music, and I must admit, and hand on heart, that I've been given some fantastic music that I play. A guy in Japan gave me a track that I play nearly every night. This French band gave me a CD in French of a track that they did, and it's fantastic, you know, and that is something that I missed in a group, because you never got that in a group. People never gave you music, unsigned music. I don't know, occasionally maybe someone would post you the demo, or, you know, nowadays it's all asking you to view it on MySpace. But it's amazing the sort of gems that you get given. I mean, this kid gave me a Korean dance track. It's fantastic. I put it on a mix I did for XFM. And it's fantastic to get that, you know, and think, then it becomes, whoa. You know, every DJ has, whenever something's going wrong, he'll always go, I'll put that on. That usually goes down well, you know. But I mean, it is quite an interesting thing. There's much more. I find groups very competitive,
right.
And I find DJs actually quite helpful to each other.
But maybe, as you've discussed, maybe it's the loneliness thing. It's the kind of there's a sort of sympathy of like,
because you're doing it on your own. Yeah. I mean, I've had much better advice from, say, Roger Sanchez, Armand van Helden, Arthur Baker than I've ever had from anybody in a bloody group, which is quite interesting. And also you swap music. Which, you know, people in groups tend to be quite insular, and I think I was probably party to that quite a lot. You know, keep yourself to yourself. It's very competitive. You've got to slag everybody off and and you don't get that in with DJs, which is quite nice.
I could give you some. I've done a tiny bit of DJing, and I could give you a mix CD that I've done, which has got maybe an obscure German track that you've not heard. Some of the other stuff you will have heard.
I mean, people do a lot. It's just a nice. I don't know. It's one of the little perks of it that people will give it you, and it'll lie in my bag for 3 weeks or something, and I'll think, oh my God, this was that. You know, that kid with the specs gave me this. It looked really weird, and you put it on, and it's a great track. You're like, wow. You know, it's a nice moment.
All right, well, we should do that then. If you'd like this CD, you're welcome to.
I'd like it. Yeah. I will listen to. I will always give anybody. You know, I think that's a very important thing to because otherwise, if you know Tony Wilson hadn't listened to Joy Division, you know, I wouldn't be boring the arse off you lot. You know, and I think that it's important that to listen to what people do. I think it's respectful, and I think you have to perpetuate this business that we're in.
Well, also, are you, because it's like today, are you giving a hand to me?
I don't know. I mean, actually, I was thinking about that. I was like, why did I agree to him? Because I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah,
and you just came through on the email. But I did watch your footage, which I thought was okay.
So what made you say yes to me?
I don't know. I'm off my head. I don't know. I do that.
Well, as you know, I'm glad that it's. But I've said that enough.
And then I invite you in my home. I know, you could be a lunatic.
Yeah, but you must have sense that I'm not really.
Well, I mean, I think you have an intuition, and you can tell how hard people try, and you do have a nutter alarm.
I do.
No, I do.
Oh right, and it didn't go off.
It didn't go off, no.
No, that's all right then. I can go back with a restful mind. I don't know, have you got anything to say on British youth culture?
British youth culture, my God, no, that's an interesting one. I mean, you know, one of the sad things about being through what I've been through is that sometimes I think that nothing is ever going to surprise me. I think it's very healthy. I'm very happy with music. When I look at bands like Block Party, even the Kaiser Chiefs, God bless them, you know, things like that. And especially when you look at dance music these days, I think it's very healthy. There's a lot of really good music coming through. I mean, God, if you ask me to name them, no chance. But, you know, I know it. And I was listening to a wonderful compilation yesterday by Lovebox. Top, man. It's got some fantastic tunes on it. And I was like, whoa. You know, there's moments like that. I was telling my mate downstairs, you know, they put 3 tracks together. And they were mega. Hot Chip, Roxy Music, and The Smiths. And what a pairing. What a treble. Fantastic. And it was like, when you hear things like that go together so well, that makes me think, bloody hell, you are a bloody DJ, you aren't you? Turned into a DJ.
It's the programming, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's all about that. I mean, and it's that programming that makes some nights go fantastically. And I always find that what freaks me out is when you go to a club and the guy goes, it's indie tonight, indie. And I go, well, I don't play indie. And he goes, oh, you've got to play indie, they'll go mad. And you think, oh no.
Right, clap-tastic, please.
God, I don't know. clapping your own bloody things.
Let me hope I can sing here.
Now I'm a video maker.
Should we make a... Oh, you've already made films, Peter.
Yeah.
Were you that involved with 24 Hour Party People?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, it was quite nice to do it. Yeah. It was an interesting. That was a really weird one because I remember Tony and I went and started the bulldozer that knocked down the hacienda, and then 3 weeks later, the 24-hour party people they rebuilt the hacienda. 3 weeks earlier, they could have used the real hacienda; it was still there, you know. So that was a great one of those surreal moments of life. So I suppose, as Bernard said quite rightly, we got to have a goodbye party in the rebuilt hacienda because they rebuilt it more or less exactly as it was in this huge warehouse, and the only things that were different were the edges, so it made it like a dream because it was the same but different. So it was like a proper dream. It was one of the most disturbing experiences of my life, that going there that night.
Of like, what you, yeah.
Because it was just so bizarre.
Of knowing something but not knowing it.
Yeah, and like I said to Bernard, I said, God, you know, the only thing that's missing is Rob Gretton. And he went, oh, look. And Rob Gretton, the character, you know, from the film, was there. It was a weird one.
So, yeah, what about Control?
Control, we were very involved with. We were involved even before Anton.
Really?
Yeah, so no, it was quite a satisfying experience, really. Again, you know, there aren't many things in life that you get to go through like that. That was really bizarre. It is bizarre. But it's nice. It's nice that I'm still here to enjoy it.
And did you like seeing somebody else playing you on screen?
That really didn't bother me, that. It didn't bother me at all. It didn't bother me when Ralph Little did it. It didn't bother me when Joe Anderson did it. I mean, I could see more of myself in Control, but I think that was obvious because Anton knows you better than, say, Michael Winterbottom did. I think Anton was very, very strict in the artist, the actor, capturing how he felt you were. You know, he put a lot into it and steered them very much towards making it so they caught our personalities. And it worked. It was good. It was really weird. Again, it was a sort of very frightening experience watching it. You know, it's really weird.
More of your legacy to last forever.
Oh
isn't it?
God, all that bloody legacy. I don't know.
Right, should we talk about the supergroup?
If you want, yeah.
Go on then, tell me, please.
I'll tell you what, supergroup.
What's
Supergroup's such a funny word, isn't
I
it?
know.
It's just me and two mates
Yes,
doing it.
Doing what?
Well, no, I mean, we started Freebase originally because Primal Screen weren't working and New Order weren't working. So Manny and I decided to start a group of our own. And everybody laughed at us because it was two bass players. So we thought, right, we'll show them, we'll get another bass player in. So we enlisted Andy Rourke, because Andy Rourke, Manny and I formed a group called Freebase. And I've been doing that now, as I've noticed downstairs, for 3 years. But it's actually coming to fruition now, which is nice. We're working with a lot of vocalists. We've got 3 tracks with Pete Wiley, Tim Burgess, Ian Brown. Howard Marks has done one for us as well. You know, it's just getting people you know to sort of help you out, really. And it's proving to be quite good. I'm enjoying it.
Are you having a Gallagher brother help you?
We're hoping to, yeah. He's very difficult to tie down, but we have asked him, and he expressed an interest. So, you know, it's very difficult to move it on from there, but I like Liam. And I think you should remember that he did his first gig as Oasis with Monaco at the Hippodrome in Middleton. So he owes us for that. It was me that set him on the road to stardom. Honest. So no, it's just a matter of getting people in, you know, to help you. They're your friends, really, which is quite nice.
And you're going to play some gigs?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to persuade Manny to do the cancer benefit. That's in February, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. It might be a bit soon. Don't know, really. So, yeah, we are going to gig, yeah. Just got to finish the bloody thing first, though.
And is there going to be an album?
Yeah. I mean, it's just as silly as it sounds. I suppose album sounds quite odd these days, but it's just a collection of music for your first set of music, you know. And I think it's quite interesting because Manny and I and Andy Rourke DJ quite a lot. We have a different way of looking at the music now. I suppose we look at it as a DJ as opposed to a musician. So everything that you want to do as a dance thing and a group thing. You know, it's quite nice, really. So that's coming along quite well. I just wish there was more hours in the day to do it. You can hear it.
Can we come and have a listen and a look?
No.
Okay.
It's only a computer. It's nothing interesting.
Well, it is, isn't it?
Oh right, okay. Well, maybe it's just me that finds it really uninteresting.
No, there is interest, isn't there? You know that.
Oh, I don't mean that. I mean the going and have a look at a computer.
No. This is again. We're not going to go down loads of this, but yeah, the machines themselves aren't that interesting.
Yes.
It's the operators.
Yeah,
or the people who come up with some ideas and bend and twist.
I mean, technology's no good without people to operate it, is it really? I remember we got a program for the Apple Mac that wrote music. This guy in California had done it, and the idea was that you sat there, and when you listened to the music, if you heard something you like, you press enter, and it recorded 8 seconds of it. Oh God, man, we were sat there for 3 days listening to it. Just like, oh. And then when it did come up with something, somebody went to hit the button and missed the button. So, maybe robots won't be able to do it, really.
Well, no, they won't, will they?
No, thank God. And it was a funny moment. I can't believe we sat there for 3 days listening to that. It was like, oh, Jesus. Terrible.
Well, no, that's not even conceptual, is it? I'm not sure. Right, I think everything's answered.
My God, I bet Gordon Brown will be delighted.
Gordon Brown?
Yeah. If everything's answered. We've done all the answers to everything in this interview. Fucking mega.
We've done life, dance, rock.
Yeah, the meaning of life.
Through dance music.
Mm-hmm.
Through music. Through creativity.
Yeah, definitely.
That's just my influence on this little setup, I think.
It's quite weird, considering we were there in 87 in Ibiza when it started. This whole thing that then came back to England and transformed everything. And I was thinking about the other day. I was watching some of those Ibiza things on telly. Ibiza Uncovered and all that crap, and I've never been back. And even as a DJ, I've never been back. Never got a gig in Ibiza. Yeah, that was what started it all.
Well, you might be back there this summer.
Yeah, no, it'd be weird that, because we lived there for 6 months in Ibiza, in a studio in Ibiza, and brought the Mondays over, and then brought the whole bloody thing, lock, stock, and barrel back to England. And I was thinking about it, I was like, shit, that'd be really weird, that, going back to Ibiza.
Well, Peter, it's always, I've had a bit of that today, because when we spoke, and I said, oh yeah, my mate used to live here, and
oh right. Yeah.
when I spoke to the guy in the off licence for directions, he sent me off down Hayes Lane, and I was kind of yakking to Katrina. I was like, yeah, that's the house where he used to live. Obviously that's of no interest to you, but it is to me, isn't it?
How long did you live there for?
I didn't. My friend William, he lived there, and I used to come up from Farnborough in my Beetle, and so. But when you said your Oldley Edge, obviously in my head,
was that before the footballers then?
It was 9.
Full of footballers now.
I know.
My alarm went off the other day, right? And I came back just as it was going off, and there was a guy, looking round, and he said, "Oh, hello." He said, "I was just checking your house was all right, And it was Edwin van der Sar, the United goalkeeper. Mega. It's like, oh yeah, you got United goalkeeper looking after your house. Is we all right? Letting no one through, is he? Top. Beckham used to live next door.
Yeah, but he's there. Well, as we know,
he's not dead.
No, but he's in America, isn't he?
Yeah.
Earning even more money.
I know. Good for him.
Yeah, no, they're an interesting couple. I don't think they're not relevant for my piece though, are they?
No.
I would be like, Dominic, you've gone off on some weird
I've got some great stories about them, but I'm not telling.
No. It's not. There has to be some confidentiality, because otherwise tabloids get involved, don't they, at times.
And on that note,
Are we finishing?
good night.
Shall I shake your hand?
If you like, yeah.
That's maybe it's been great, Peter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll leave you to pack up now. Don't steal anything.
Why do I do that?
I don't know, you might be there on eBay. Hey, I left a chocolate orange at Pete Wiley's house and he put it on eBay. 35 quid if you're interested. I was very flattered. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, what, should we just ring you when we're saying goodbye?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll be popping up and down with it.
Yeah, all right. Cheers. The audio was peaking a bit at times, Katrine, but
my camera was a bit shaky.
that's all right. But it was only peaking at times, so I'm hopefully can bring it down a bit, or just go. We're not using that bit.
I hope I try just to get a few sort of different, because you've got the two main cameras.
Yeah, he was looking at the camera quite a lot,
He was, yeah.
which is all right as well. I think that's kind of reasonably okay. Right, let's try not to lose any of the Rush's tapes.